The future isn't coming. It's already working for those who know how to use it. Today, I'm opening the doors to the next AI masterclass. We've already learned simple AI, the kind that answers questions and follows commands. We've moved into partnership AI, where you speak to it and it speaks back, helping you think. But now we're stepping into the new frontier, agentic AI, the kind that doesn't just talk, it works. You'll learn how to command AI agents to work for you while you sleep, while you preach, while you build. The first Saturday of every month. Don't miss out. Reserve your space now. Your future is waiting.
The next AI Masterclass will be held Saturday, June 6th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Join us in person at 310 Riverside Drive in New York City, or participate live on Zoom from anywhere.
What is going on? What is going on? What is going Add me to the stage. There we go. There we go. What's up, y'all? How is everybody doing? Welcome to the room. Welcome to the room. Welcome to the room. All right, y'all. We need to talk because the church conversation online has officially turned into a reality show. Everybody got a title. Everybody got a platform. Everybody got an opinion. But where is the accountability? Today, we're going to be talking about the leaders, social media, church culture, messy moments, all of the shade, all of the crazy stuff that we've been seeing and that the chat has been saying. This is not about attacking people. This is having a real conversation with discernment, a little shade, some laughter, and some awareness. So before we get started, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe if you have not, share the stream, share this out, drop where you're watching from in the chat, say something, talk to me, talk back to me in the comments. Let's get started. All right. So we all know that Brian Keith Carn is the topic, the topic of the week. We might go ahead and say the topic of the month. Okay. But it's just been too much. It's just been too much. It's just been too much. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about Brian Carn. And then I have a inspirational message. It's not. I got a message for y'all at the end, and you can take it and do with it what you will. Let's see. We're gonna start off the AI masterclass. The AI masterclass. You saw that in the beginning. Register now. The classes have been awesome. It's not just a chat GPT thing, but it is very informative. There are new things and new technologies that are coming out, whether we like them or not, whether we want to use them or not. Eventually, just like everything else, they're going to make us. They're going to make us start using these things. So why not be educated on them now? Why not be educated on them now and go ahead and figure out what it is we need to do and say. Real quick, I am going to ask for you all's prayers real quick. My father is right now having a procedure. So I'm trying to keep my mind occupied, trying to keep my anxiety down, because I'm not worried, but anytime a procedure is had, you already know we human, that's how it goes. So I'm just asking for you guys' prayers, if that's okay with y'all. So, before we get started, I want to give a special shout out to my sister Tasha Page Lofton, known as Tasha Page Lockhart, who has announced that she is having a baby girl. Lord have mercy. Thank you. It was weighing in my chest area. But she says she's on the way. Our little miracle baby will be here in September. Um, and then she tags her husband and said, God continues to favor us, and I cannot wait to have your baby. I finally have my girl. God never forgets. I was told by my doctor in Michigan that I wouldn't be able to have any more children after CJ, and he's 17. I've had her name picked out for 6 years. Now, y'all keep me lifted in your prayers because I'm 43 and I have every symptom listed in the book. So, um, yeah, congratulations to you, sis. Congratulations, congratulations. I cannot wait. I know she is going to be a cutie as of all of them. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into Mr. Brian. So there was something that I saw this week, and it kind of puzzled me. It kind of puzzled me. I'm not going to show the whole thing because it is long, but I'm gonna skip through it and see if it toggled your mind like it did mine. Cause, or I'll show it and then we'll talk about it. Let's go. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Hey, Mark. Good afternoon, hon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm sorry if I didn't speak. Hey, Stephanie. How are you, dear? How are you? How are you? So the my thing is this here. Why is your back to your congregation this whole time? This entire time, your back is to the congregation. I'm gonna move on up. I'm gonna show you. You still back still. Your back is still to the congregation. I'm gonna move on up some more. This is when he turns around. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but then he turns around, takes his jacket off, and starts prophesying. um, I don't understand it. I see the tactic. I see the ploy in it. I see what you're trying to do. I see what you're trying to do. But this is where the manipulation and things come in. These are the types of things that we see and we're like, "What are you doing, sir? What are you doing?" These are the types of things that make us talk about everything that you're doing. This is what makes us talk. Now, then we have Lambert Gates, who comes on and pretty much blames us. It's not us. It's not us. Stop doing that. Just say it. The foolery. Help us, Lord. Desiree, I don't understand. We're gonna listen to some of what Bishop Gates had to say. And I'm gonna say this because I hear this and I've been hearing this a lot lately. I'm not here to say who is and who is not called. I'm not Jesus. I ain't God. That's not my responsibility. Um, because God uses whomever he wants to. So I'm not going to say he's a fake prophet, he's a false prophet. I'm not going to do that because obviously something is working because he's doing what he's doing. Do we like the way it's being done? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Mark says he needs to just hush. I said hush, you said hush, and go on a sabbatical. I think that's best. Instead of telling us to be quiet, tell him to be quiet. So we're gonna get into a little bit of it. Let's go.
In congregation, that means you're supposed to follow him. And when he preaches on Sunday morning, you don't go home on Sunday night and give your commentary on what he preached that morning on Facebook. Facebook gonna send some of y'all to hell.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I'm sorry. Here's the problem. You don't tell us to not go online and talk about what he said. What you do is tell him to stop saying stuff in the pulpit to give us to talk about. Don't y'all keep trying to blame the vloggers and the bloggers and no, nope, nope. That's accountability, sir. Let's do accountability. You were so good on Juice Radio yesterday. Oh, excellent, excellent conversation. Keep up the good work and teaching, Shine. Thank you, Desiree. Thank you. Though yesterday was good. That was a good show. But um, sir, no. our platforms, be it a content creator or just a regular person, on at the top it says what's on your mind. it it asks us what we want to say. So we have the right to say that. We're not going to do that. Let's go.
Nobody asked your opinion about what the pastor preached. You ain't got no opinion about the word. Oh, y'all gonna get quiet with me today. Look at your neighbor, say too many opinions up in here.
Well, I got opinion, and my opinion is y'all need to stop. My opinion is, how about y'all preach on Sunday? All of these preachers Sunday was talking about social media. Y'all wasn't giving no word Sunday. Y'all were talking about exactly what we're talking about. What do you y'all sermons on Sunday was talking about what we've been talking about. And then you say we going to hell because we child, cut it out.
That's why the church can't grow and the anointing can't flow. Because the people come to church on Sunday morning and they don't have their notebook out to take notes. They have their notebook out to critique. And they got their phones out to catch moments in the service so they can go viral on Facebook. You go.
Okay, now I'm gonna say this. Marcel, who is this man? He better be careful. These messy people will start digging up dirt on his. Okay. Everybody want to be viral. But when you go viral, you have to understand what comes along with being viral. They're going to start digging into you, Mr. Sir Man. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. What you just said is crazy. I'm sorry. And I respect authority to the fullest. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any type of way. But this sounds crazy. This sounds crazy. Hey, Juice. Never late, never late, never late. Welcome to the room. Welcome to the room. I can drop the link too if you want to come up. Let's listen.
You ain't got no opinion about the word.
Why?
Oh, y'all gonna get quiet with me today. Look at your neighbor, say too many opinions up in here. That's why the church can't grow and the anointing can't flow. Because the people come to church on Sunday morning and they don't have their notebook out to take notes. They have their notebook out to critique. And they got their phones out to catch moments in the service so they can go viral on Facebook. You're going to viral your way into the lake of fire.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If I was to have my notebook out right now, or to have my phone out right now in this service, what would my notes be? What would my notes be? Let's go.
Still a man, still flesh. And I tell my congregation that all the time. I'm still flesh like you. Quit idolizing preachers.
Nah, I agree with that.
Pastor, not a movie star. I'm so sick of y'all celebrity preachers, I don't know what to do. Can't nobody touch you. Can't nobody talk to you. Always want somebody to carry your bag. Carry your own bag with your lazy self. And I'm going there. Yeah, I'm going there. Why you need somebody to carry? I don't like it. You do what you do. I'm not condemning you to hell. I'm so sick of men and women, especially you evangelists, coming to the church.
Now, I need y'all to listen to this. I need y'all to listen to this. Because he starts off saying celebrity preachers and men and women, but this specifically was for the evangelist. Now, I don't want to hear he was talking to the men too. Don't do that, because 9 times out of 10, when they are talking about males, they say elder or minister. The women are what they call the evangelist. Let's go.
Then you spend all our money because you got to bring an armor bearer with you. Pay for your own armor bearer. I called you to preach. I didn't call to pay for somebody to carry your book. Carry your own book. I called you to preach. I didn't call to pay for somebody to carry your book. Carry your own book. And if you are going to carry your bag, at least have enough respect for God to get your own Bible and walk 10 feet to the pulpit.
I don't know what that has to do with respecting God or taking your. I don't. People just be saying, let's go.
Oh, y'all don't like that. Sit down. Oh, I'm getting in trouble. I'm sorry. You do what you want to do. I taught you to carry your own Bible. Tell the mom bears, get out your way. Some of them don't want to do nothing but be seen. No way. That's why they're hanging next to you. I don't need you to stand beside me and pray. It's too late now. You should have been praying last night.
You know, and this is one of the things. They be so busy trying to throw off in these sermons that they be telling on themselves. What was it last night that I should have been praying for? What was it that I knew about that happened last night that I should have been praying for already? Tell me. Tell me. What is it that we should have known from the night before to have prayed for? What's going on, Danette? That's what I be saying. Keep talking. Keep talking. Uh-oh. Hold on. I think I went back too far. Let me see.
Carry your own book.
Yep, went back too far.
You do what you want to do. I taught you to carry your own Bible. Tell the mom bears, get out your way. Some of them don't want to do nothing but be seen. No way. That's why they're hanging next to you. I don't need you to stand beside me and pray. It's too late now. You should have been praying last night.
About what?
We old preachers gonna be out your way after a while. The robe is fine. I see the table. They're gonna lay it on you. Installation is fine. Laying on of hands is fine. The honor that will be transferred to you tonight is biblical and right. But the moment any of that pageantry begins to replace the substance, the moment you begin to confuse the symbols of the office for the office itself, you have stopped being a pastor and started being something else, wearing pastor's clothes.
And what is it?
The pageantry, this is good, this is fine, but don't get it twisted. It serves the substance. It never substitutes for it, because you can be all dressed up and not anointed. I'd rather have a raggedy pastor that can bring me a word from the Lord.
This is why this is this this is why we have stuff like this. That's why we have stuff like that. Because you feel like you would rather have a raggedy pastor with something. I don't want no raggedy pastor. Mark says leaders should be an example even when they fall, make mistakes, failures, errors, etc. Model the whole gospel. Model how to admit to be wrong. Exactly. Model how to overcome failure. Model how to be humble. Exactly. These excuses that you all are making, I can't. Hey, Londa, what's going on, my dear? I can't do that. You can't. Oh, let's listen.
And the substance is this: just rule means you got to be fair. You can't pass it and have respect to person. That's why I told you don't get so close to anybody that you can't rebuke them.
You don't ever be so close to somebody that you can't rebuke them. That don't even make sense. Y'all be trying to sound so deep. It's true, but at the same time, you're not doing it. You're telling people to do stuff that you're not even doing. What's up, Giles? I can drop the link for you and Juice if y'all want to. Like, come on now. Exactly. Say it in the mirror. Because what you're saying and what you're doing, they don't match.
I don't have nobody I pastor that I can't rebuke. If I can't rebuke you, get out of this church. So hear me, my son, because I'm going to say it the way a father says it. I am not interested in how many pictures you have on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I am not interested in how many reels you make. And just for everybody in this room, I want you to go back and look at your social media page, because I want to tell you, God monitors the motive of every post.
The lies you tell. You're not about to sit here. You're not about to sit. What does this have to do with the body of Christ? What a person, why are we making social media? Why are we putting social media and the Bible together? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Now, Danette, I'm not gonna say that you're wrong. I'm not saying that what he's saying is not right. What I'm saying is what you're saying you're not doing. That's the problem. That's the problem. Everything is a clapback at bloggers and people that don't agree with him. Why are we using the pulpit Why are we using the installation? Why are we using that for this? It doesn't make sense. And here's another thing. I'm gonna say this why this picture is right here. You need somebody by you, obviously. Because if you had someone by you, there is no way on God's green earth that anybody would have let you as a bishop come up and minister with your collar turned around like this. That's not protocol. You're out of order. From what I've been taught. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. This Danette, this is Brian Carn's father in the gospel ministry. Mara said, can a lay person rebuke him if needed? I don't. Let's listen.
Sometimes you can put it up as a spiritual post, but it's so that you can be aggrandized. God said, my glory I'll not give to another. So I want everybody in this room, the next time you put up a post, ask the Lord, do you want me to put it up? And is my motive right? Look at him and say that to them right now. Y'all.
I can't. I can't. Because I'm just trying to figure out where did what is put on social media become what gets you into heaven or hell? See, y'all, it's a scare tactic. And y'all trying to make people not post on social media. Y'all trying to make people not post their feelings on social media. Y'all don't want people to talk about what's going on or how they feel about what's going on social media. That's a control tactic. Who is wanting God's glory on social media? It's a difference between telling of the goodness of God and giving testimonies, but I don't never put nothing on social media to get to God's glory. I don't know. I don't know. I'm guilty by association, like father, like son. Like father, like son. Yep, I said it. Because you all are trying to condemn people for telling how they feel. Come on now. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Because them two don't go together. Them two don't go together. Then that says social media and God get mixed together on social media every day. But what I put on social media is not what's going to send me to hell. You're gonna have to show me somewhere real good. You're gonna have to no, 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 you can't. It ain't gonna work. I'm sorry. And if I'm wrong, one of you Bible scholars, tell me, because I've never seen that in the scripture where social media um is it stop. We're not gonna do that. You're and then I'm not gonna even play his. Ty Hall comes behind and says, if your brother is overtaken with a fault, drawing attention to how situations involving others should be handled within the faith. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? These are public court documents. Now, it wasn't a lot of news people there, but there were people there. This is not a overtaking. I want y'all to stop doing that. Brian Carn was not overtaken. Brian Carn gave false information about his taxes. That is not an overtaking. And then he turned around after he pled guilty for doing that. He turned around and did it again. Where is the overtaking? Where is the overtaken? Where was he overtaken? We're not the court, so we can't handle it in the faith. No, we don't want him to go to jail. Nobody wants anybody to go to jail. Let's be real. Nobody wants anybody to go to jail. But you gonna be real and be honest and say, okay, if he said, hey, I did wrong, let me correct it, then yeah, we can talk about something else. But you had time, ample time to fix this, and you did not. You did not do it. To handle it different. He didn't handle it different. Hold on, my brother is here. Wait, handle it different. You shall handle what different? What's up, brother?
What's up, sis? How you doing?
I'm good. Handle what different? How we supposed to handle this?
Let me tell you something. What's so crazy is watching all of these videos, and all of them are mad that vloggers and bloggers or whoever else and people on Facebook are commenting at what they're doing. And they're talking about, oh, you're going to hell. God's going to get you. This is not right. The Bible said this about you. I'm like, look, nigga, it's all scare tactics. You don't want
Mm-hmm.
us you don't want us to say something because we see what you're doing and we calling it out. Now, here's the thing about Brian Carn. Brian Carn admitted to what he did was wrong. And they're making excuses for it, like, well, some of y'all that filed stuff wrong. Listen. We're not talking about what we did. We're not talking
We
about what they did. We talk about what he did.
exactly. Don't
Now,
try to throw it off on us.
because I don't hear Todd Hall talking about the women.
Hmm.
But you mad because he going to jail?
Hmm. Now we going to hell because we talking about him going to jail. But what did he do to go to jail?
Lied and would it be considered stealing money from the IRS or just lying?
You pretty much, I mean, you didn't. Well, when you file your taxes, if you don't file the right amount, that's technically stealing.
Okay.
That's technically stealing because you didn't. If you made $1 million and you said you made 17,000, you're not reporting everything. So you're lying about what you're lying. Is
Well,
hold on. Let's welcome Juice, 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 Juice. What's going on?
Auntie.
Hey y'all, hey.
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 What y'all up to? What's going? Thank you for my happy anniversary, Demario. I just saw yours, and Shun, thank y'all.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you. My God, today, this
I'm
guy.
just trying to figure out. They say we supposed to when our brother is overtaken, the church folks is supposed to handle this different. And I'm just trying to figure out where is the different.
Well, you know what? The church is supposed to handle it different. We're supposed to hold them more accountable than we would a common criminal on the street, and that's exactly
Yep.
what we're doing.
Yep.
Boom. There it is.
Yep.
There
That's
it
exactly
is.
what we're doing, and we're not gonna hold up. We're not gonna give up. We're not gonna let up.
They don't
And
like accountability. That's the thing. They want
right,
to hold you accountable. They want to scare you. And I say this when I'm live, I say it all the time. They're starting to make me feel like none of this stuff is real. Because the only time you want to talk about heaven or hell is when the people don't do what you say do. The only
Mm.
time you want to talk about heaven or hell is when you want the people to give more money, to build you up, to give more, to do more, help you. But what about the people? The only time, I mean, because I read something today about prophecy, and I said this a long time ago because S.Y. Younger said you can be a real prophet and get it wrong.
right.
And I
Mm-hmm.
said, you're not supposed to be. If God is speaking to you, okay. If God is speaking to you, I feel a little help.
Hit
Okay.
hit the note. Hit the note. Hit
If
where the musicians.
I'm on my phone so I can hit my music. If God is speaking to you, how are you wrong?
But here's the reason why I say they get it wrong, because real prophets have this thing called flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get in their flesh, they could prophesy and be altogether wrong because they have stepped outside of their gifting. They have now catered their audience to the church, and they're just gearing and looking at that instead of saying, Lord, what do you have me to say? Because God could be telling them, rebuke every single member in your church right now because they all wrong. But because a prophet who don't want their members mad at them, they will then say, God said, all y'all gonna be blessed. But you've just lied. But the
Just lie.
congregation don't know because they have no discernment. So yeah, real prophets can prophesy wrong. That's called lying. That's all it is.
And then at the same time, just because you're a prophet, prophetess, whichever, every time you get up is not a time of prophecy.
No, only
Absolutely.
when God speaks to you. Right.
So when you
Absolutely.
say that they can be wrong, they can be wrong because they use their title and because that's like Mother Stacks. When you go to see Mother Stacks, you want some type of prophecy. It
That's what
may
they
not
do.
be the day for her to prophesy. So she's going to pray for you and you, but then I'm not going to say it's a tactic, but at the same time, these people know what you come for. And
But
it's not
that's why we
always
have to
that time.
that's why we cannot. If you're going to be a true man of God, a true prophet of God, you cannot allow the audience to sway what you're going to say. You have to listen to God.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And see, too
Mm-hmm.
many pastors are afraid to lose the audience and they have no fear of the loss of God.
Yes.
And this is
Yes.
why we have to start realizing that prophets, like Demario said, prophets, when he was talking about they can be wrong, because sometimes prophets get the fear. And I think this is what happened. My thought, my opinion, may not be his reality, allegedly, with Prophet Brian Carn. He may have, when he was younger, started out with the gift of wisdom, the gift of knowledge, which the church then called the gift of prophecy. But I think even Prophet Carn and others like him, my thought may not be their reality, somewhere along the way felt fear that what they were going to say was not going to come to pass. So what they did, instead of speaking what God told them to do, they spoke something else. And that's what a lot of prophets end up doing, because they themselves get fearful about what it is they're supposed to say. They forget how to speak the truth. They get fearful of speaking the truth. And that's why people would do this. They would go and they would take other prophecies that other pastors have spoke or other witches have spoke, and they would start speaking that, because
Well
they
then,
themselves have lost confidence and faith in their own selves.
well then
Yeah.
they're in error.
Hey,
They're in
Cruiser.
error.
They
And
are,
see,
DeMario. They are.
and that's where we have these problems, because you're not going to tell me. I'm so I can't tell you what God told you. I can't say that.
Can I say something
But
to I think I know who Darnita Shea, because I think she used to be on my page too. First she said, what is the fascination with Carn? And now she's saying we should pray for them. This is where I have to cut, because there really is no fascination. He's just always doing something, giving us content.
yeah, we
Now,
talking about what's out.
and we talking about what's out here. And two, you want us to pray for somebody who does not want prayer. Like this man and so many others, they continue doing what they're doing, and this is why they're preaching grace. They feel like they don't need to be saved no more. They don't feel like that God is going to get them. God is mad at them. Nothing that they're doing is wrong, because they are the called of God. Brian Carn said out of his own mouth, he said, I'm God's favorite. God's
He
not
said,
mad at me. I'm God's favorite. And I said, wait a minute. Now, when he said that, I could relate to it, because when I was younger, now y'all hear me say this all the time. When I was younger, I was super saved, but I thought I was right next to Jesus. I thought
Listen,
I was right there. I was
mhm.
in church all the time, saved, reading my Bible, on the altar all the time, crying out to God, praying, fasting, hikama speaking in tongues, everything. I was God. I felt as if I was God's chosen favorite, all of those things like that. I felt all of that. But then I grew up and I understood that, yes, I'm loved of God, I'm favored of God. I know God chose me, but that does not mean I'm not going to make mistakes, because I thought I was perfect. I did. I thought I
here's
was perfect.
and
But
see
then
here's
Mhm.
this is one of the things I want to say to Danette too. When we say when people say they're not praying for him, I think that people are pretty much saying they're not praying for him in this situation. Because I'm going to pray for everybody just in general. But to keep what do we pray for him in this situation when he's going to already do it's you can see that he's already going to do what it is that he wants to do. And he has people like Hall and Gates that are backing him up and is pretty much saying, nah, it ain't you, it ain't nothing wrong, it's them, and y'all stop talking about him. No.
Here's what I have to say with Danette and others, and no disrespect to Danette and her thoughts, because everybody has the right to their own thought and their opinion.
Mhm.
But what I think people don't understand is Prophet Karn right now, like Mario said, no, not Demario, I think Miss Cruiser said in the chat, he's the topic right now. So it's a topic of discussion. But it's also a good time to have this discussion, because He's not the only one. And church members that he have are not the only members that stand in the line of possibly getting hurt. We got to remember the sheep as well. So a lot of people want us to stop talking about Prophet Brian Carn, but we forget the sheep that are in the way, the sheep that are in the path. We forget about them. So it's
Mm-hmm.
important for us to have these conversations because it's a church topic that we need to do. You know how many people have gotten hurt, injured, and their lives have been taken away because people said just pray for them? They did the same thing with David E. Taylor and all
Mm-hmm.
these people still
Yep.
praying for him. They did the same thing with Jim Jones. Everybody still was just pray for him, just pray for him. All the lives, the massacre of lives of people that were taken, that were lost. We got family members. I got a viewer, a subscriber that comes to my channel. Her family was part of the Jim Jones massacre. And in one day, she lost 7 members. And you know what? She said she cried out, she prayed, she spoke out to try and get her family out of that cult. And unfortunately, the cries were silenced by church members. The cries were silenced by a lot of people. And she lost 7 family members in one day, something
Wow.
that could have been stopped. So
Mm-hmm.
church members, I understand y'all want to protect people. Y'all feel as though all we should do is pray. But I want to say this loud and clear. Some people were called to pray, yes, but some people were called to be on the battle line. See, that's why we got soldiers out here in the United States of America. Their families send them off with prayer as they fight these wars physically so that we could have a country that we're safe in. What happened if we told our soldiers, sit down, don't go anywhere, we just gonna pray for this country? So we can't just always just send prayers out. We got to send the workers out. Everybody is not called to be a worker. Some people, yes, are called to pray. Some people are called to be workers in the field. And those of us that are out here calling out, speaking out, and we're not doing it from a hurtful place. We're doing it from a place of, Brian, we trying to protect you too. I don't want this young man to die and go to hell. Hell is real. In my thought, maybe not in everybody else's thought. He still has a chance and an opportunity to get his life turned around. But those of you who are calling us to just stay silent and continue to have this young man stay in his wrong path, y'all are doing him a disservice. You are the ones that really don't care for him. You are the ones that really don't love him. Because if you did, you would be crying out just as loud as we are. So I don't understand your silence, but if that's your position, then have your position to only pray. But don't get mad at others out here that have their position to gear up their armor and go out here and walk this battleground and fight with things other than just their prayers. That's my thought on it.
Amen.
Yeah. So to answer to Cruiser, this is what I'm not gonna play it, but this is what Todd Hall said. Now he said if your brother is overtaken with a fault. I'm not seeing this situation as him being overtaken with a fault. Tell me I'm
Correct.
wrong. I
You're
don't,
right.
when you are knowingly doing something and you continue to do something, the revenue service gives you ample time to get these things together and to rectify these things. And you at no point tried to rectify this. You tried to pray your way through this. You tried to shout your way through this. You gave prophecy that said that you were not going anywhere, and you are going somewhere. You were sentenced. You prophesied as if God was, you were not going to get any time, nothing was going to happen, and that's not what happened. And we're not talking. Where is that? He did give you grace and gave you 9 months.
Y'all have to understand, people have been praying for Prophet Brian Carn. If we want to stay on his total subject, just him alone, let me say this. People have been praying for Prophet Brian Carn, and I think they've been talking to Prophet Brian Carn since way before the synagogue incident. That was just when all of us probably got word of this thing that's going on. But in my thought, my opinion may not be his fact or his reality, allegedly. I believe that stuff has been going on way before Bishop Synagogue
Yep.
situation.
It has been.
Mm-hmm.
It just exploded because Bishop Synagogue went loud with it. He went loud with it, and that's why it exploded to that amount. But I want y'all to think about how long ago has that been? Demario, how long? How long has that been since the Senegal situation? And
Senegal situation, I think, happened 4 years ago because
so
that was around the same time with Pierre Whitlow.
right.
And
So
so,
here's
go
so
And
that
ahead.
social
time
media
frame.
wasn't like it is now.
No, but all that time, people have been praying. And if you really could see in the natural realm, all of the people that have been allegedly hurt, harmed, and mistreated in ungodly ways by this individual, we have been praying. We have
Mhm.
been praying. I prayed for Prophet Carn back then. I prayed for Senegal. I prayed for Pierre Whitlow. I've been praying. This is the very first time that I have really, I think this year, last year, really been speaking loud about Prophet Brian Carn. I didn't even speak back in those days. I didn't speak. I did just like Danette said. I just prayed.
And
But
John
now
showed
it's
a
more than
video.
speaking. We got to do more than we got to. When God calls you to do more, and I do believe that God has called my channel and my voice and others to do more. And we're not doing it in a hurtful place. And I think that's what church people look at us and they think that we are doing it from a hurtful place. We're not.
No.
We're trying to get this young man to calm down.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll say from where I am with it, I've known Brian for years. Like when I say years, I mean years. I'm talking about his teenage years. Brian, to some degree, is a lot milder than what he used to be, but he's gotten in some cases he's gotten older and worse
Yeah.
because it's like you have your following, and that's cool. You got your following. How is it that, and y'all see this, Sean, Auntie Virginia, y'all see this? How is it that you got women coming out speaking out about you having babies by them, you sleeping with them, you got men coming out talking about you just slept with their wives, and you out here clapping back like, yeah, God ain't mad at me, ain't nothing finna happen to me. Go tell Clubhouse. I said, run tell that.
Oh
Ain't
my
nothing.
God.
God ain't finna do nothing to me. Yeah. And this go to every other scandal. God,
Mm,
yeah. I'm gonna come out of it on top. Like what?
Mhm.
This is what we're seeing.
yeah. Part of restoration, and I'll be doing a video on this. Part of restoration, biblical, is that the person has to turn from their wrongdoings. That's part of
Mhm.
restoring your brother. Restoring your brother doesn't simply say you forgive them. Restoring your brother means he has to be restored himself also. And he has to get to a place where he stops. He has not, according to his past history and according to what the DOJ and the IRS and the court documents stated, he has not stopped the history of things that he's not
Mhm.
supposed to be doing. So part
That's
of
the thing.
restoration means you have stopped and you've shown that you have stopped. And I think a lot of these church leaders are getting it wrong. They're feeling like, oh, because you forgive him, and maybe even he said he's sorry. But the other part of restoration, when it comes to the biblical definition of it, is they have to show that they have changed. And that takes time. It's not something that's immediate.
Yeah, but then we have to go here, Regina. If we're going to look at the change part and the restoration part, when he got the first letter, he did nothing. When he got the second letter, he did nothing.
Hmm.
When he got the third letter, he did nothing. Then you falsified. Then you falsified again. If maybe the second to third letter you said, okay, let me, then yeah, I can see, okay, you're changing, you're trying to do something, you're trying to, but every time you come forward, you have this boasting attitude about it.
Yeah, because part of restoration is
Sean,
humility. You have to show signs of humility.
Shun, this was him at 16 years old. So just what you see right now, imagine that as a 16-year-old boy. The church and these leaders have allowed this stuff for so long. This is why this boy can get up and talk like this, because the church and its members and its leaders have allowed this arrogant behavior to go on for so many years. Now he feels entitled that nothing and God is not mad at him because he's been getting away with this so long. So when he's called out by more than, because at that time I was calling him out. Tony, this one guy, pastor named Tony, was calling him out. I think William was calling him out too at that time. But now it's masses of people. And now everybody and their mama that's got a pulpit saying, oh, these bloggers, these bloggers, these bloggers. And it's like, well, maybe we the real prophets because we see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, no one is condemning. There's a difference between condemning someone and bringing awareness to something.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. No one is condemning him. What we're saying is, hey, this is wrong. And if you're going to be a leader and you're supposed to be teaching people
Right.
that certain things are wrong, then what he's doing, instead of saying, hey, this is wrong, we need to change this, or I need to change this and lead by example, he's teaching the more grace.
He needs to be
That's
teachable.
not where it is. So it's not condemning him, it's bringing awareness to people of things that are going on. And then Cruiser says, what do we need to see from Brian to feel he's repented? um
Here's what I think.
Something,
Go ahead, Sean, and I'll go after you.
one of the things that I say, and I said it last night on Juice's show, the repentance is not for us, and the repentance is not for us to see. But when a person does repent and turn, we see it. It's not anything that they actually have to say. You'll just see them moving different. He never has to repent to us, but what he should do, if you apologize, that's just like if you get in trouble with your parents and you're really sorry about doing what you're doing, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to get a whooping or punishment for that exact thing. Not
I got
saying
one
that
for
you're
you,
not
Sean.
going to get it again,
I
but
got
for that thing, it's not going to happen.
I got one for you. You remember when we used to get whoopings and we used to say, I ain't gonna do it no more. 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 And we end up doing it again. We got our butt whooped again. When we got tired of getting whoopings, maybe I'm the only person who got whoopings. Okay.
I got them
Uh
too. Extension cords, racetrack
Ooh,
I got them, but
shoes,
not, I never for the
switches.
same thing twice.
so it's like when we got tired of getting whoopings. Oh, I remember the exact day. My grandma, she came in there, she said, she told me and my cousin, come in here, I'm finna whoop y'all because y'all did X, Y, and Z. And she said, if you don't, well, matter of fact, she said, if you don't tell me the truth, I'm gonna whoop you. And I knew even if I told the truth, I was gonna get a whooping. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and take my whooping.
Hmm.
And at that time, I was like, if I do right, I won't get a whooping. If I do what I'm supposed to do, I won't get in trouble. And at that point, I was like, well, I might as well just start telling the truth then, so I won't get no whoopings. And it's
Correct.
like I look at Brian, I'm like, y'all just don't care.
Just start telling the truth. And I want to answer this for so she's there. I want to answer this what Miss Cruiser had to say also. Hey, Miss Cruiser. She said, what do we need to see from Brian to feel he's repented? We need to see a change. That's what we need to see. And we need to see that these things are not continuing to happen. Now, they've been happening in secret and they've been exposed. And what we need to see is that Prophet Brian Carn does not have any more exposures or things that he tries to do that is hidden. Because here's one thing that people do, and this is just man per se or woman per se, the human being. What they do is once they get caught in something and they get away with it, they try and perfect it so that they won't get caught again. Those are the ones that want to repeat the cycle. But the very ones who actually try to change it and don't do it, they will actually do it and you won't be able to see any of it anymore. So right now, the test is going to be, is there going to be any more exposure? Should he be even talking right now or preaching right now? I think the young man needs to really take a break. And I'm saying this out of love because there's too much fire on this situation right now. And it's actually doing more damage to the body of Christ because you got believers fighting with each other over this whole thing. You got pastors in pulpits saying, you pastor, you wrong. You got this one saying, no, you right. You got the body of Christ right now, believe it or not, are fighting with each other over this situation. And my thought, my opinion, I think he should just take a sabbatical for a moment and get his whole life together. And I do think professionally, he should seek some professional help with the issues that were named against him in those documents.
Auntie, it's too much money on the table. We ain't gonna do that.
But see, that's what needs to happen. And because that won't happen, this young man is being misused by the very people that say they're protecting him.
Absolutely. Agree.
That's my thought on it.
Hey everybody. Hello, hello.
Hey,
So
Cruz.
y'all know I always like to bring an opposing view, just something to think about. First of all, what's her name in the chat? Danita?
Mhm.
Danita?
Mhm.
As long as Brian Carn is giving us something to talk about, baby, we're gonna talk.
Hello.
And that's just the bottom line. That's how it goes. That's the business. That's the business, So
Amen.
me and Jive's got a mutual friend that says, if it's on YouTube, we're gonna talk about it. So,
Hello.
so ain't no use in you going that way, girl, just tie a knot and hang on. It's gonna be talked about because Brian gonna give us something to talk about. On the flip side of that, the reason why I asked that question is because that question has been lingering with me ever since I Am Courtney asked it. What do Brian need to do? Some of the things that other vloggers are hearing Todd Hall and the one that shares a space with him, the young man that came out that shares a space, I guess, in Jacksonville with him, with Brian
I think
Carn.
he just wanted to say something, Cruz. I think he just wanted to say something.
But that's what I'm saying. Everybody
Well,
jumping on it.
I agree with what he said. I said amen all the way through it, though. I agreed with him. Now, I can't say and won't say, because I don't know what nobody's calling is. So I won't say what nobody else can or should do. At some point, like I put in the chat, you have that little wayward family member, child, somebody, nephew, whatever. And after you talk to him and talk to him and pray for him and pray for him, and you talk to him, pray for him and talk to him, pray for him and wish for him and tell him to stop. And then after a while, you just kind of put your hands up and say, Lord, they're in your hands. They're going to keep on doing what they're going to do. And so with a Brian Carn, at some point, that's what you have to do, because I don't know whether talking about it is going to change him at this point. And a lot of times people do get changed, unfortunately, when they get caught. David was lying about Bathsheba, and he was lying about Bathsheba. And and then until God, sent to present a prophet, and even then he was like, who? He said, that guy is you. It's you. Peter, he was hot-headed, cussing. I ain't gonna do it, Jesus. And Jesus said, yes, she is. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it for the rooster crow or the cock crow or somebody crow. Cock-a-doodle-doo. And he did it. And even Paul, even when Jesus ascended into the heavens, sitting on the right-hand side of the Father, who was still messing up? Old Peter, Paul had to rebuke him. So I don't, I understand where people see this whole vloggers versus the preachers thing. I understand it. And I am 80% or 20%, excuse me. I'm 80% a viewer and 20% a vlogger. And I am one of the vloggers that talk about the folk. But I do understand, and I said to Shun, I said to you, I said, we are gonna talk about this so much that the people who's watching us is gonna start being sympathetic to Brian Carn. And I see that
Yeah, but
happening.
see, at the same time, though, this Sunday, it was more the other people talking about it. You had the other pastors in their pulpits talking about this, which means we gonna talk about that, because you all are coming at the content creators and the vloggers and bloggers for talking about it. So
Yeah, there
now
is
we
a,
gonna start talking about it again.
y'all say something, and we gonna say something back to y'all, and y'all gonna say something back, and we gonna say something back. Yeah,
It's gonna
I
keep
wish there
going.
was something that vloggers, the church vloggers, and I wish that somebody would come in between and say, "Hey, stop. Can there be a sitting down? Can we fly the vloggers in and have a sit down or something?"
He just went on Isaac Caree's show doing
Mhm.
a show over there with Isaac Caree. So it's like,
Who's been on there? Carn over there with Isaac?
Sure.
yes.
Oh, when was that? Y'all know I don't be keeping up, and y'all
It
know,
just came
and
out
y'all already
today.
know I don't know these. Well, I know Isaac because me and Isaac grew up in Greensboro together. But I ain't know when did he do this
Yes.
interview?
Probably the other day or something.
So it was
Karn's
recently.
this
Yeah.
attention Karn is wanting. He
Oh yeah,
want all this.
He
Because
says every time he says something, it's gonna go viral.
he gonna go to jail and he gonna get out. And when y'all mark my words, today is, I don't know what today, the 5th or something like that. That nigga gonna go to jail. And when I tell you, his church is gonna be slam packed, wall to wall with women.
oh, 'cause that's what the people want. Y'all know I always say that.
You
Y'all know
see
I
how
always
many
say
people there was?
y'all like all y'all ain't gonna go to no little boring church. Y'all
They
want the
like that kind of
excitement and the
carrying on.
jumping and the scandal and the him fussing at folks and embarrassing folks. That's what the people want.
You
That's what the
see how
people
many
want,
people there was
and you
Sunday?
can't stop people from going to get what they want.
But
That's what they
look how
want,
many people there was that was there Sunday.
and it's gonna be 100 more this Sunday, and
Hello.
200 more the Sunday after that.
Them people danced and flung and flopped and hopped
So
and
what you gonna do about people who go to a place where that's what they want?
Apostle.
Hey, St. James.
Hey,
Here's the
say
thing.
James. You say Brian Carn is an angel.
St. James. It's a mess.
St.
Here's
That's
the
James
what
being
thing.
they
blunt right
basically
now.
saying.
And
You
here's the
was
thing:
overcome.
I don't think that's what y'all. I don't think they're saying that he's an angel. I'm certainly not saying that he's an angel.
No, they said he was
But
overcome. Nope, we
but
ain't gonna do that.
but I guess the audience is saying, how long we gonna argue with the folk? We obviously disagree. And the people is not going to say, "Oh, listen." It's almost like telling your friend about that no good ninja that she go with, and the more you tell her that ninja ain't no good, the more she want him.
Yep.
Like some things do come by prayer and supplication, because sometimes you can, it's just like, I lived in Central Texas, Killeen, Texas. And it just seemed like it was cults all around them place. Like it was cult city. Like, I mean, I ain't never seen so much cults in my life. It was just everywhere, David Koresh was in Waco, and I was like 40 minutes from there, and I just thought that was just something I saw on TV until I moved till we got stationed in Killeen. And you could not tell those people they were in a cult. You couldn't convince them people, and the more you try to convince them people, it was almost like digging a hole in somewhere that the more you dig the hole, the more you trying to cover the hole, and the more you gonna sink in and sink in and sink in and sink in. And
But
at some point, it's like, when you gonna take your hands off?
There's this
And,
one group.
Mhm.
And there's a few companies out there that actually go in and rescue people from cults. And one of the things one of the gentlemen said when they were doing, I think they did an interview, and they said, "Why do you do it?" The people actually, they'll run and they'll run back in. You go through risking your life to get them out, and then a lot of them end up running right back to the same cult. So why do you do it? And this man said this. He said, "If I can at least save one, I've done my job." So even though I know a lot of people want us to hush and be quiet, but over here at the Juice Radio and Talk Show, if we can at least save one soul, and I pray even that one soul be Prophet Brian Carn, I'm not leaving him out. I'm still going to do my job. My job is this. I want to make sure that people know the truth about our Lord and Savior. We are losing the faith to a lot of other people because a lot of other people are looking at our God like he a joke because of the people that are leading the ministry. So no, and like I posted this on my YouTube page, my Instagram, my TikTok, all of them. No, I will not stop talking about these individuals because it's important to the one that I can save. And I don't and I'm always amazed that I get more kickback from church people when none of you are concerned to the magnitude that others are. It just saddens me because I have to look at this like Brian Carn, picture this. Brian Carn actually going to hell. Going to
I
hell.
think it's unfair for you to assume that just because someone don't have the same calling or method as you, that they're not concerned.
No,
That's an unfair statement.
what I'm saying is that's the way you viewed that statement I made.
Mhm.
My statement was for the ones that don't care. I didn't say for everybody. I specifically said for the ones that don't care.
Yeah, because
that's
just
how
because I do not necessarily agree that it's an effective way to reach people, that doesn't. But see, that's not the way that God gave me, so I can't judge it or think any other way about. I can't determine what somebody else should do or what somebody else is called to do.
What I said in the video also is those who can pray, that's their job. They can pray. But others have a different job. Our position job is to go out and do something else. That's our job.
Yeah. And if only people could start respecting each other's position without assuming, or, you shouldn't have to come up. If you know what you're doing is what you were called to do and what you are mandated to do and what you are anointed to do, you shouldn't have to come out here and explain it to nobody over and over and over again.
But we
You know what I'm saying?
But we do, Cruiser, because they come in our chat, they come on our channel, and they tell us we have no business doing what we doing.
But let me show. Let me. I'm a.
Say that about me and not say nothing back to them. I'm just supposed to let them tell me what I'm supposed to do, and I'm just supposed to stay silent on that.
But let me show you. I'm gonna show this picture.
You don't want me to put that back on them.
This is one of the reasons why I hear, and that a lot of us stay on it because it's real, and we're talking about cults. I'm gonna show y'all a picture of a guy who is in prison right now today because he ran a cult. He did everything. They still live on the plantation. They still do all of this. This man right here has 63 wives.
Yeah, I read that story.
And it's called Keep It Sweet. It's on Netflix. This man has 63 wives, and they go to the prison and they get whatever he telling them. They take it back to the compound where the people are still today because they feel like this man is the leader of the world. In jail, they went to court. These people testified like he wasn't, that didn't happen. He's the greatest, with all of the paperwork, all of the videos, all of the everything, all of the evidence that they saw because they sat in the court and watched it. They still said he ain't do that. That ain't true.
Let me say something. I feel the need to say this. I brought up cult, but I ain't saying Brian Carn church or his ministry or anything like that is a cult. I don't I ain't even know Brian Carn existed until recently on YouTube. So I'm not qualified to say whether I ain't never been over there at his church. I ain't barely ever watched it other than clips they put up here. So I wanted to make sure that that's clear, that I don't want people to run around saying Cruz said it was a cult. I don't know that to be true. I don't know if they're a cult.
But Shun said it's cultish. Nah.
That gentleman's name, Shun, that you had on there is Warren Jeffs, and
Warren,
his father started that, and his father was also part of that cult leadership and has several wives, including young girls as well. And that's been around for a long time. He is in prison, and a lot of them still are protecting him and supporting him, but a lot of those people did leave. And
a lot of them left.
A lot of them are still being threatened. Their lives are still being threatened because they did.
Some of their mentals are still messed up.
Of course, yeah. And there's a documentary out and a conversation that a young lady had, that she was able to get her children rescued from that cult. And they came and they were able to take her children back when they went out to, I believe, was ice cream or the school or something. And she's still fighting to this day to get her children back. And I remember doing a whole story and conversation on that.
Yeah, this is to 2026. So if the thing is, sometimes people don't understand it when they're in it. And if they hear somebody say something about it, even if it's one, that is a good thing. Because if each one of us reach one, and it's not to deter them, it's not to bash him, it's not to say that he's not called, because when I watch him on Sunday, I'll be like, I see why they there. It just ain't for me. But I can see how some people, how they're there. I get it. And then he has the charisma to go to, like, I understand it. But at the same time, the other things that are being done is what the problem is. I can't say the man is a false prophet because I don't know if God called him or not. That's not that ain't my lane.
I don't even do prophets at all. So I don't think prophets,
even the pastor.
I don't even think prophets are in this dispensation of grace that we live in. So that's a whole nother thing for me. But even in that, y'all know I'm a live and let live. Listen, whatever you need to do for your personal relationship with God to make sure that you have a connection to God, you do that. So if you cool with prophets, y'all do that. But I think that some things do come by fasting and prayer, and I think that the same power that can break the stronghold off people that's addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, addicted to whatever, that's got a stronghold on their life, is the same God that can deliver people out. And I think that His power is so much, of course, better than my power. And so that's kind of where I stand with things, is that, it's kind of sometimes we have to stand back and let the power to see the power of God. And sometimes, we can run in to dangerous situations or make situations more dangerous if we're not, like, if your call and your election is sure, that's one thing. But those of you who is not, don't be running up in there, trying to move and change and make sure that you're called. And I hate that the Juice Radio and anybody else have to explain what the mandate that they have. They have to explain that, hey, this is what I'm called to do. Because if this is what you called to do, is what you called to do, no matter what nobody think about it. It don't matter what nobody think about it. That's what you called to do, and you got to get up and do it, regardless of what. And people gonna come at you. They're gonna come at you because they don't understand. They don't, or whatever, want you to stop or whatever it is. But I get why some of the viewers are kind of like, how long are we gonna talk about this? When you gonna let that man go? What does he need to do? Have you prayed for him? I can kind of see that side of the side of the view also.
Yeah, if they stop talking, then we won't talk about nothing.
And even if people do want to talk about it, people talk about me. They've been talking about me since I've been in kindergarten. You can't have everybody be quiet about certain things. What you can do is you can have them change the narrative about what they're saying about you by you changing your own behavior. That's what
that's facts, right? That's facts on fact right there. Because if Brian Carn do something tomorrow, I'm gonna hit my button tomorrow. That's just a
And,
fact.
and see,
And
if it
also,
ain't juicy,
let
we
me
ain't
add this
talking
right
about it.
here. Let me add this. There are a lot of preachers out here that they are not even in the social media. They're not even in the news, and they just preaching and going on about their business. Why? Because they're not doing all of this stuff. This man, no, like this man, know good and well what he's doing. Does not even care about getting bust out. Doesn't even care. He gonna do something. We gonna talk about it, and there he go again.
Should, having said that, Josh, should we continue to give him the attention, knowing that that's what he wants?
What we're trying to do is we're not trying to give him the attention. We're trying to give people the awareness. And I think that's what people get their misunderstanding. They think, well, some channels, I'm gonna speak for my channel. I'm not gonna speak for nobody else's channel on the platform. But here's my thought on of my channel. I want to make people aware, because I don't want nobody else to have to deal with the Warren Jeffs, the David Koresh's, the all these other people that did all these things. I want to be somebody that has a voice to say, listen, all y'all running in, will somebody at least listen to me? Even if at least one of y'all will listen, then come with me and let's talk before you go into a dangerous position. That's a position that my channel has. I'm not trying to take nobody and make them into a worse situation or none of that. I'm just trying to save whoever I can save, whoever I can, because when people talk about the hurt that their families have gone through, and I've interviewed several women and men who have been hurt by religion, it makes me feel bad because my God is taking the brunt of this, because now people are not looking at that individual and saying, oh, you're a horrible person. They're looking at my God and say, what kind of God is that? I don't want to serve that God. So my stance is not just to stand up here and just say I want to protect the people. I'm going to stand in defense of the God that I serve. And I think a lot of people misconstrue YouTubers who are on social media condemning the wrong, or people who are in church leading people wrong, is because they think that we're out here trying to make somebody look bad. They've already done that to themselves. I don't have to make them look bad. They already did that. What I'm trying to do is get the people to see my God looking better than the reflection that they have my God to look like. That's what I'm trying to do. And that's why I don't like when people try and get my channel mixed in with other people's channel, because there are people out here that's just out here just making a mockery of our faith and making a mockery of all this situation. But that's not my viewpoint. My viewpoint on my channel is, y'all, my God is real. And he's took enough hits and enough all this mess from all these people that say they love him and they care nothing about him. So let me introduce y'all to the real God that I serve. That's my job. And so that's why it gets me upset when people try to silence me. And like you said, Cruiser, you don't know what we called to do. This job on YouTube, trying to be a real defense for God, it's hard. And the people that come at us the most, that come at me the most, are the very people that I'm trying to protect, the church people. The world stands with me, but the church people stand against me. And so I have to you got to have this tough skin. This is not something that I do because I have fun and enjoyment with this. You know what it is, trying to read all these nasty comments about you, trying to have people tell you a woman, you need to be quiet, you need to sit down, stay in your place. Who are you to speak? That's not something easy to do. And why do I get up every day and up every night searching stories that I can try and warn people about? Because I know what I've been through, and I know what I've been through in churches. I've seen the abuse. I've heard the abuse from others. I've seen the pain, and I don't want that pain to continue. So if other people out here will understand that's the stance that the Juice Radio and Talk Show has, maybe other people will understand and realize we not all alike. Like you said, Cruiser, we don't all have the same gifts, and we're not trying to diminish anybody else's. But what I am saying for the Juice Radio and Talk Show, and the host, Regina, and her husband as her producer, which we ain't getting paid yet for him, but we praying that he will get paid. I'm just trying to save somebody. Like the song said, if I can just save somebody, that's all I'm trying to do. I don't want no ill towards Brian Carn. I want the young man to do well. I want his mom to be prouder of him than she is. And I want him to know this God that we really serve. I don't think this young man was treated right in his coming up. I think people pimped him out. They used him and they scarred him. And even he don't know the road back. And so people like myself and my channel, we trying to help him to get back on that road, to get back to understanding, to know this God that he speaks about. He's been lost along the way. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to do it as best I can in love. But yes, I got to fight. I got to fight people that's fighting me. But I don't have to fight for my God. But I will allow my God to use me in the way that he will. That's what I'll do.
And that's why I
See?
wish that some of the preachers, because I don't think they're all that's talking are all bad, or I wish that they wouldn't group us all together because we're not all the same. Like,
Mhm.
you know, I accept some of those darts that's thrown from the pulpit because I ain't out here trying to, I wouldn't say I'm not out here trying to help anybody, but my content is not for that purpose. I already know that. So to group everybody, to group me with Juice Radio isn't fair with Juice Radio. And I think that when they're talking, talking overall. They are grouping everybody together and saying, those bloggers are just coming on and talking, and they don't know this person, and they should do this and do that. So it would be nice if they could have a sit down with some of the bloggers who have like minds like them. Like, I'm here to help the people. I'm here as a ministry. I'm here, evangelizing. I'm here, trying to do this as a ministry. So they can understand that all the bloggers are not the same. And all the bloggers don't have the same purpose for blogging. And
So
I ain't saying that I'm out here being a bad blogger. I'm just saying that, I get what you're saying, that you're grouped with a bunch of us. I'm out here just doing content, to be honest.
Like right here, right now, there's 4 of us. We all talk about it, but we all talk about it in different ways.
And for different
But
purposes.
to loop, yeah, for different, but to loop all of us together and say, well, everybody gonna talk about us. Like my brother, he gonna go ham. He gonna use some words. But to put
Real.
Juice in there with him and say, oh, well, that's
Right.
not fair. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Cruiser gonna give you the shade and she gonna give you the comedy with it, but that's not fair to say, oh, well, she talked to Jive, so she be cussing too. And she don't, you know what I'm saying? So it's
Yes,
not
I do.
fair that they loop us all
I
they
don't have
put
to, because
us all
I just
together.
called Demario and he'll just send me a text and I just show him the text. That's all.
Yeah, but they do make everybody, like when they
Mhm.
called out at the convention, they made everybody Jives and William.
They had my thumbnail on there.
That's what I'm saying. They made everybody.
And I didn't even know who the guy was.
See, there we go.
And he rolled that thing in real good when he said jive, talking jive. I said, oh, wait a minute. But there is, I've been doing this for a little while, off and on, and I've never seen this much back and forth between. I mean, when you in your pulpit arguing with vloggers, you kind of need to reevaluate stuff.
That's something.
When you allowing social media to determine your message,
35
that's the
minutes
issue.
of your sermon.
That's an issue. That's a problem.
35 minutes of your sermon is talking about bloggers.
At some point, you got to say, you know what? I'm gonna come out here and say what God say, and let God handle that. Because because the more they talk and the more they bring attention to the vloggers, the more the vloggers going to respond, and then the more they're going to. There's rather than them, folks ain't coming to church to hear about me on Sunday, or hear about Jives on Sunday, or hear about Shun on Sunday. Like, what are you doing?
And then this was during an installation. You talking about, I don't care how many likes you get on Facebook. I don't care how many. What are we talking? Why is that even in the vicinity of the message for installation? No
Hey,
sense.
Judah.
Hey,
Well, I
Judah.
understand. Hi, Mamir. I think what, in all fairness, we are still living in a free country, as free as it can be for now with who's in office. So people have to understand on both sides That's why when people come in my chat, you want to talk, as long as you're respectful, you can talk. I'm not trying to tell you to shut up, be quiet, none of that.
See,
You
Auntie
feel me?
Regina is real nice with it because I was on her show the
See,
other day and she was like, yes, and listen, we're going to see, I give you one time. I give you one time and one
wasn't she
time only.
nice?
And when you get through, you come back in my chat and you still going up, mother beep, beep, beep. Now, I didn't try to tell you, got so-and-so. Get your mother so-and-so off my page and let's praise God, everybody. Now let's get back to the program. Because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because
Everybody
y'all can
runs
sit
different,
back.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can sit back and watch these people do wrong.
Right.
And then Cruiser was even there. I've even seen people say, well, like my auntie said, these women need to close their legs. I'm like, well, the nigga need to close his legs too.
Hello.
Right.
Like, we not gonna sit up here and blame the women and not blame the men.
Yeah. Yeah.
We not, and see, and people, it's like we blame one side but don't blame the other, and then we want to give one pass but don't. And I'm like, y'all, I'm tired of this. Like Auntie Regina said, y'all make God look bad. And then when people come up and say, well, I don't want to go to church no more because of da-da-da-da-da, it's like these people see what's going on. They know what's going on. And they're just like, I'm not even finna get it. So if the world say, I'm not giving it a pass, why am I going to give it a pass?
Yeah. And I just, I get it because like the pastors, they want to try and lump us all together. And half the time they don't even look at our videos. They just look at a thumbnail. I have learned the art and craft of the thumbnail, but the thumbnail is driven to do what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to drive people to look at your video. But most of the time they don't even watch your video. They just go base and just make their own assumption on the thumbnail. And I get like a lot of them try to always pour us into the same pot. But then they get mad when we try and pour all the pastors into the same pot. That's why I literally, Cruiser, Shun, DeMario, I literally had to put a video up on my channel as a full disclaimer of what my channel is about, that I'm not talking about all pastors and all bishops and so forth. You know why? Because after I did my video to tell Swan, how dare he? I got a bishop that called me who I am very close to. And he said, I saw your video. He said, and I'm not saying you wrong. He said, but it sounds as though you are lumping all the pastors and churches into one thing. And he said, I know that's not you. You're a respectable platform. He said, so if you could, and this is just a suggestion, do this. And that's why I did it. Out of respect for that bishop, I did that. But that's what people do. They try and lump everybody together, but they don't want us to lump it together. And so that's why I have that whole disclaimer on my main YouTube channel, the main video. Y'all watch this before y'all see anything else. But I get how they want to be upset to say y'all lump us all together because we say pastors. And that's why I had to learn to say, I'm not talking about all pastors, but the ones that fit. This is who I'm talking about. But they do the same thing to us. And I haven't heard none of them say, I'm not talking to all y'all bloggers, just the one. They just simply put us all in there. So
they put all.
When they members looking at our channels, their members don't even think to search and see what our channel's about. They just go in. They think that we all these other people out there doing a whole bunch of mess.
But we're going to do a PSA. Before y'all start talking about whoever said what, take a look at their channel. Look at the video and see what was said, because a lot of people, y'all don't even know y'all being taken up for. We are saying that it's not all pastors. And when we're talking about a specific pastor, 9 times out of 10, that pastor's name is said. So it's not to all pastors.
They ain't gonna look at that. Only very few will. I'm not gonna say all, but very few of them will look at that notice. But the real about this whole situation, and then I got to get ready because I got to do a Bible study tonight with Pastor Lorenzo. The real is this. Some of us really out here want Prophet Brian Carn to just get to heaven. And we all on this struggle. We all got stuff in our lives. I got things that my flesh will get me into, and I got to correct my flesh, and I got to clean my flesh up. We all have that. I'm not saying none of us are without fault. And I understand people say, don't, he who is without sin cast the first stone. I understand that. But here's the difference between me and some other people that may not want to listen. I'll listen when somebody tell me, hey, I think you should check this area. Like when the bishop called me, I didn't tell the bishop, this is my platform. I do what I want. You don't tell me what to do. I took his wise advice. Now, there are some people I say, no, thank you for the advice, but no, I'm just going to have to keep rolling this way. But I'm not trying to be disrespectful in it. I am trying to listen if there's a correction that needs to be done. This has been going on in the body of Christ way before Carn came into place. There's a lot of pastors that have been abusing people based on sexual experiences that they've been doing. And people have been told to stay silent. That's why those girls on that other pastor, I forget his name, the white guy, that had all those women that are now in their 40s and 50s coming forth when he took advantage of them in their 12 and 13 years old. They were told to stay silent. They were told to be quiet. People that knew were told, be quiet, don't say anything. And that's why he was able to hurt so many of them, so many of those little girls that grew up with traumatic problems, because no one wanted to speak for them. And then when they got old enough and strong enough and brave enough to speak, the church still tried to say, just pray for them. But these women had to go through mental challenges in their life where they can't even have real relationship with men right now, to the point where they find real joy because of what this man did. And the secrets, and the pastor was married, his wife knew about it. And she was one of the women in the church that was saying, y'all just be quiet, keep it a secret. She knew what he was doing, and she covered her nasty husband. And so for 30, 40 years, these women had to deal with people saying, be quiet, just pray for him. Be quiet, don't say anything. Be quiet, he's a man of God. You're going to go to hell if you say something. But all along, they were living in hell and still living in hell right now on earth because of what the traumatic things they have to think of, what this man did to them when they were 8 years old, talking about, here's a piece of candy, come sit on my lap. And the rest, y'all don't even want to say. I can't say because it's a public platform. So for everybody that's out here saying, just be quiet, don't say nothing, people like me who hear these stories, I just can't stay silent. There are some stories I don't touch. There's some stories I don't say anything about because God will tell me, leave it alone. But there's some he'll tell me, speak loud. And I do my best to speak in much respectfulness as I can. Thank you, Danette.
We appreciate you. We do. And we thank you for your contribution. There again, everybody's platform is different. And you get something from everybody. So
I do. And I love everybody's perspectives. I love everybody's perspective. Even you, Shun, not to say I'm sorry. I didn't want to talk over you. I apologize.
Oh, no.
I love your perspective, Shun, your heart. I love Cruiser's perspective. I'm watch Cruiser's channel too. Cruiser, she laughs a lot and she's fun with it and so forth. And we need some laughter with all the stuff that we go through. I go to Cruiser's channel like, man, I had a rough day. Let me go over here and just laugh at some of this stuff. So we needed you. DeMario, he is my notification bell is on 100 for DeMario's channel. So we all have our things and gifts that we can give to this whole thing. But I think all of our hearts, all of us on the panel, are really for folks to make our God look better. That's all. I mean, he don't look bad, what I'm saying per se, but we as a people got to understand we are the only God that people see in flesh. And the leaders have to understand they should be a brighter light than those that are sitting behind these cameras saying that pastor is not a good person. The pastors and leaders should be a brighter light. And I know they fall sometime. And yes, am I still my brother's keeper? Yes. And part of me protecting and covering my brother is to say, hey man, you can't keep doing this. And if I need to be a barricade in front of you, I'm going to do that because I love you that much. But you got to have strength to be barricades nowadays. You got to be strength. But I still am going to say, yeah, I love you. I want you to do better. But, I love everybody's perspective. That's coming from a good place. I do. And I do love when DeMario be putting his wigs on because he just cracked me up with them Fraggle Rock wigs.
I'll be having it. I watch him and I'll be like, why, Father? Why?
So I just have to tell him, no, not today.
With him and Lex, I couldn't hardly stand him and Lexus together.
Oh,
Him and Lexi did a good
The,
job. They
the
did.
two of them together was
Lexi did not cut up all the way like like we do on the phone. So I'm gonna
no,
just say that.
yeah.
y'all held back. She had me screaming. I mean, you always have me screaming, but she and you can tell y'all do talk because you hit that button. Oh Lord, right in the spots that she kept right on rolling. Like it was nice. That was a good interview. That was really good discussion.
It was.
Demario, you had really good patience for the lady that you had on there that was supporting Brian Carn, the doctor lady. I don't know her
Yeah,
name.
Crystal, Doc,
Crystal.
that's my play on to yeah.
Yeah,
And
you had a
I
lot of
said
patience
this.
for her.
I said this because I know where. See, she says one thing publicly, but privately, we have a total different conversation.
What?
See,
Now, hold on. She does support Brian not going to jail, but
Right.
the other conversations that we have privately, absolutely the opposite. Like she be like, I know this just these niggas we got going on, and if he wrong, he need to go to jail and and I'm like, and even like the situation with Paris, she know about Paris, she know about Brian and Paris, but she not gonna say that publicly.
My friend Paris, hold up.
Which Paris you talking about?
Your friend, my friend, Big Boot Paris.
Yeah, Bigfoot Paris. Yeah,
everybody know about but.
Oh, I didn't know.
Uh-huh.
And that's been out for like, come on now. What is
So
it?
you now you know me. You know I'll be following stuff. It has to be up in I learn stuff when it hit YouTube. I don't be following stuff up there.
Yeah, that's been out for a minute.
Oh wow. And this is my thought about Brian. I think Brian, y'all know I call him Brian Carn, but it's my accent. I don't
Stop, Cruiser.
it's my I don't think that the way he do things, and I'm having a hard time saying this because I think people have a right to go to wherever church they want to, even if it's crazy. I'm gonna pray for you and hope you come on out of there. But I think that we have to choose you this day what you're gonna do. But all of that. Don't pay your light bill. I think I paid that clip on my channel. Don't pay your light bill. People be running around here playing. They'll pay their light bill and they won't get a man of God something. Yeah, I'm gonna pay my light bill first.
Hello.
Absolutely.
My phone rang.
He said that. I must have missed that one.
Yeah, my phone rang. Hopefully I'm back.
Yeah,
Yeah, I played a little clip. He was like, well, people they'll pay the light bill, but they won't give this or give that. I'm not with all that stuff. We all come from where we had, not my grandparents. Well, I don't think my grandparents gave money. Yes, well, hold up. My grandma did. She was caught up with this crazy church one time when she was giving money. So we've all had family members. They were giving money somewhere and they didn't have no business, and families had to bail them out and they were trying to get them away from somebody. So I think that Brian is very, very, very problematic as far as I'm concerned. Now, this whole IRS thing, yeah, it was the thing that finally got him. But y'all already know my opinion on that. It's a lot of churches need to straighten up their finances. They really do, and start doing things correctly. So that was, for me, that wasn't as big of a deal as some of the other stuff that he do and going with the girl for 10 years and all of that. Now, I ain't in your business. You sleep with who you want to sleep with, but you only be taking your making these girls think you're gonna marry them and carrying on and dragging them into, because you are over them. You influence them. They see you as their pastor. So you're taking advantage and manipulating. So I don't think much of him from what I've seen. I don't think much of him. However, I do think that ain't nothing you're going to be able to say to get these folks away from Brian Carn, because they over there, some of them over there because it's a great place to hang out and they feel good on Sunday and it tickles their flesh. Some people are over there because they really think that he is who he say he is and he giving a good word. You're just not going to be able to pull these people from it. It's going to take a miracle from on high for that stronghold of Brian Carn and folks like him to be broken off those folks, because everybody ain't going to church for Jesus. But one thing about it that my daddy always say, if somebody looking for Jesus, he ain't lost. They will get him.
Ain't funny.
meaning that you can see you can see the good. You can filter through all the good to get. I mean, all the bad stuff to get to them if that's what you want. If that's what you want, and a lot of people, as much as we talk, they don't want them like y'all think they want them. They want exactly what they're getting. I'm
Mm,
convinced of that. They want exactly what they're getting.
mm.
I'll say this to add to what Cruz is saying. I 100% agree with what she just said because when I lived up north and the church I was going to, I love my church, but it was, it had its issues. But I stayed because I felt like, well, where else am I going to go? Like, there's no other church in the city that's really cracking like my church, even though there are bad situations or whatever. But I don't want to go to nobody else's church. And we have good services, even though our pastor can sometimes be trash. But I'm gonna be right here. And then I didn't break loose from that until I moved.
Hmm.
You
Some
So
know,
I
people
mean,
you'd
say
rather some
they know
people.
it's bad, but it's fun over here. The music's good over here. It's cracking over here.
And
mm-hmm,
some people would rather deal with their with the known crazy than to go to a new crazy.
yeah.
I'm gonna stay where I am. I already know what's going on over here. The lesser of the two evils.
I'd
Uh,
rather deal with the crazy that I do know.
Yeah.
My
Hey, Dr. Ben.
my son's the other grandmother. Y'all call no, I call her the other lady. My grandson's other grandmother, the other lady. She was telling me, and y'all know I did a video on it, where she was saying that her pastor, what she called her pastor with her cousin in her house, and she was so troubled over that. And we talked about it and everything. And then probably about a good 35, 40 minutes after we talked about that, she started talking about the church that I go to because she came over there when our grandson was dedicated. And she said, it just seems like they can get it going a little bit more at your church, get a little bit more livelier. And the whole time she was kind of telling me that, I was thinking in my mind, they could, but your church all the way live and you caught pastor with your cousin. It just goes
Right.
back to my point that people want they itching ears. They want the flesh. They see problems over there, but she can't come over there where we do the blood drive at, where we go into the schools when they need it to do the help with the testing for free. But she can't come where the people come when they need help, or that we do the twice a year health checks and have a dentist, a volunteer to come out 3 times a year to help people with their dental work. Well, we're a full ministry. We help you body, soul, emotion. We got psychologists there. She can't go there because it's too boring. We ain't got no scandal up over there. The pastors doing, him and his wife doing what they supposed to do. They ain't trying to get, ain't nobody throwing money at their feet. They take the salary that's agreed to. They got a bishop up over them. She don't want to come there. People want to go. They know they see stuff wrong with their church, but their church is more fun. I almost
And
want to
some
tell
of
them,
them
you
folks,
you need to go on down to the club, boo,
some of them people like
for what you getting.
they sit exactly where the camera be for a reason. Seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
some people want to get close to leadership. They somewhere because they think they can get closer to leadership. That they want to get in a particular position and all of that.
Mhm.
It's people. I like to see us addressing some of and we're gonna keep on talking about the ministers and stuff because as long as they do stuff, we're gonna talk about them. But sometimes we need to
Absolutely.
talk about these members that go. The
Mhm.
way they're thinking, what it is that they want. Why are they there? Why are you really there?
Mhm.
What you really thinking?
I got one even better for you, Cruiser. Why y'all members sending us stuff, but y'all still at the church?
Then there's that. And that's what they
Judge,
don't
you better say that
understand.
again. You just
We
said a
don't go
mouthful.
we don't
Mm-hmm.
go digging. This stuff comes from your members, somebody on your board, somebody close to you. That's why the information be so accurate because they're close to you. We don't know y'all like that. Well, we most people y'all don't we don't have a direct connect to you.
I got one even better, Sean. The reason why I was able to give all that information about Marvin Sapp is because Tankapool was hitting me up from a fake page and somebody else giving me all the tea. And I had other members that was sending me stuff. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So then when Marvin Sapp tried to hit me with a cease and desist, I said, you need to go talk to your members.
And now we're
You was coming, Jobs, you was coming out with stuff with Marvin Sapp, and I know somebody. They can't get no closer to me than this couple can get to me. They can't get no couple. If y'all ever just look at my channel, every time I talk about Marvin Sapp, I put their pictures up and say, "Hey, get your friend." They can't, and they were at the wedding, and I ain't know none of that. I ain't come back and tell me that all that was going on, and they were there.
And Tankapool is where now?
Who is Tankapool?
Tank is the boy who came on my show.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to defend Marvin Sapp, but then throw shade at the same time. But this nigga is up here on your praise team.
And see, people like that, I don't trust them. I don't trust their word. To you still over there being running stuff back, but you still over there. You ain't leaving.
Oh, they do it.
But you running stuff back. So how can I trust what you're running back? And like y'all said, a lot of the videos and clips and stuff, they had to be for somebody out in the church that unless it's one of the church that stream, all of that stuff comes straight up out the church. Out the church, from the people who's going there, and it's going to continue to go there because they love the mess. They like it. They like their mess.
So it ain't us. We get the information from your people. So I don't know what y'all want us to do.
Hey, Dr. Ben Israel.
Hey, Dr. Ben.
Dr. Ben.
Shun, Corey is out of the hospital.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I am so happy. I think he came on at 6. I'm gonna go and watch that. I'm so happy to hear that.
How was his grandson doing? I didn't know him before the thing, but I think like he said his grandson had some of the same issues.
Yeah, he had some of the same medical issues, and his grandson got out of the hospital before him. Corey had to go back in. But his grandson, his wife said was doing well. She was updating people on the post, so he's doing well. Shun asked me, if we could go live and pray for him, and Shun, she's so loving, and so he's thanking the people. Looks like Shun, yeah. I think he mentioned that some of the channels came and prayed for him and stuff. But that's what it's awesome. About. That's why I love all us YouTubers that can stay in contact with each other and support each other, because like pastors need a support system. We need a support system too.
Yeah, set aside differences and disagreements and pray. Before I get off here, I'm gonna get ready to go on a little further. Y'all pray for the people. Y'all know I love the cruise. Juice, I see you love the cruise too. Y'all pray.
Y'all
pray for those people up on that ship.
Did you see that ship cruiser? Oh my gosh! That the man and his wife both passed away.
They saying it's up to 8 people now, but I think that they're still contained on the ship, and it's still contained to their area. They said that somebody was in a land. I was like, what they was doing in a landfill? But it's not American. It's not an American ship. It's not even a big ship. It's only 149 people on there. But
but they said it's because of rodent droppings or something. And and 3 people had passed away from that. My sister is the one who notified me of it because she knows my husband and I love cruising. And I was like, oh my God, the gentleman, I think he was like 70 something. He had passed away, and they took him off the ship, and his wife was walking through the airport, and she collapsed and she passed away.
In the airport. Yeah. What airport was she in? Was it in?
I don't know. It's overseas somewhere. She was on some airport to try and go to the family, and she collapsed and passed away. Yes, the hantavirus.
Hantavirus.
Of course, they won't let them get off the ship, the other people, because they have to confine everybody. Did they let them off yet, Cruiser?
No, I don't think they're off. And I feel bad for them having to be on that ship. But, they got to understand that they have been exposed to something that could turn into could easily
Coronavirus.
turn into a worldwide thing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
they
they
need to
have
stay
to
on. I
stay.
know I'm flying out Friday, and I'm really thinking about. I haven't worn a mask in a long time, but I'm really thinking about wearing a mask, and I'm praying it for everybody who's selling right now. I know there are some concerns, for those who are about to go out right now, praying for as y'all pray for our friends. Josh probably, Trey Lane, Spill It Boy TV, right, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
James, yeah.
They get on one. They getting on it tomorrow. Really bees on that selling too.
Wow.
So we're praying, and again, it's not American ship, not one of those big ships, but it just lets you know that things can happen anyway, and
Things can
we
happen.
Yeah, and
and we
Yeah.
continue to pray for all those people that's on there too. Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, Shane, anything?
Yeah, Cruiser, we're gonna have to go back to our mask and gloves and
Mhm.
go to the bus.
Listen,
You're gonna have to put your gloves on.
Yeah, I'm really, I'm really considering that, I'm flying out and going, and I'm like, look, I half wore it during the pandemic, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
things
kind of,
is different now. Well, I
mm-hmm.
thank y'all so much for coming up. I am going to church this evening, so I have to get ready and get dressed. But this of course somebody else don't talk about it. My brother gonna probably be live in a minute sometime. So as
I
long as
might,
something is
if he on
happening,
there with Isaac, I might have to talk about it.
yeah.
When you
See,
say to
tomorrow
Isaac.
is. Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it
Mhm,
this evening. Yep, sure
mhm.
is. So we gonna continue to talk because I know he didn't say something else that we gonna have to talk about.
When I see them people ride 10 hours on that bus, I'm gonna talk about them. They better not
I'm a,
ride 10.
every time,
All right, let me
every
go. Y'all know
time.
I keep on saying stuff.
All
This is a
right,
good live.
y'all.
Thank you, man.
Thank you
See
for
All right.
y'all
coming
later.
up.
Thanks, Sean, for
Have a
having me
good
up.
one.
Sean, thank you, Choose.
See you,
Have a good one.
Demario.
All right, y'all. That is listen, again, keep doing it. We gonna keep talking about it. Now we got another interview to watch. So that's gonna be that. And after we watch this Isaac Curry interview, we gonna be back. Hey, listen, these are the ways to support the platform. You can send a tip that is Cash App, Super Chat, um, yeah, Cash App, Super Chat. We did not have a goal for tonight, but become a member. Shop the merchandise. We still have the mugs and the shot glass. Share the screen. But as always, the most important is to like. For 99 cents, you can become a member. And please, please, please turn on your notifications so that you know when we are going live. And then follow us on all platforms: TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. If you want an even easier way to support the platform, there it is right there. Take your phone, hold it up to whatever you're watching, and you can sew there. Um, I got a PSA that I'm going to play on the way out, and after that, we're gonna be out of here. So you guys have a good one. Goodbye.
Breathe, bitch. Parasocial attachment is when a person watches a stranger for so long that they confuse obsession with relationship. They don't know you, they don't love you, they don't have access to you. But in their mind, they have assigned themselves a role in your life. Girl, that's weird. And when that type of attachment meets the low self-esteem these bitches have, too much free time, and no real identity on or offline, it turns into this weird, obsessive, chaotic internet psychosis. Like where they stop being a viewer and act like they just automatically are a part of your life. So they got their degrees in you and they know every fucking thing. This behavior is eerily familiar. This is how he started off with all of us. This obsession. I'm gonna see to it they rot in jail. I'm gonna make sure everybody knows. Everybody knows what, girl? You don't even know. Most of the shit that you said in that video wasn't even factual, baby girl.